I hate that club.
That's all right.
The noise is not necessary.
No, but we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal and they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights that among which are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But hey, this real world we live in, sometimes it feels kind of tough and it gets rough. And if you watch the news, it's annoying as heck. We still in the first minute. You don't want to curse in the first minute on YouTube. But
No?
no.
Mm.
So anyway, this world is rough. It's tough. And one of the things that will help you get through it is reality. No, when I say reality for like reality TV, you mean I can go watch some reality shows? Um, how am I getting through? What do I want to do? Knowing that I'm in this America, land of opportunity, also land of poverty, in your face blatant poverty, land of equality, also land of blatant in your face racism, land of second chances, also blatantly in your face land of um, unfair sentencing guidelines. All that's going down. And it can get annoying. But what are we going to do about it? Well, sometimes we escape to the world of fantasy. All right. So, the first person on the scene to chime in on the chat is Mr. Jean Paul Shelton. So, salute to you. Hope to see you this weekend. And good songs on Reggae Thursday that was on earlier on the Ruckus Radio Network. So, Trap, what are your thoughts on either you can go into fantasy culture or you can talk about your local topic?
Well, well, you said everything there. Let's go with the fantasy.
Okay.
Because everybody has one, don't they?
Yes.
I got one.
Two chicks at the same time, man. wait. That was from a movie called Office Space, okay?
What?
Not saying that Mills Lane, has a fantasy where it's two chicks and me. That would be ludicrous. What, Trap, you were saying?
Damn.
I'm sorry, I had to clear the air.
I'm good with that, but damn, I never even thought about. No, that didn't come up. You know what I mean? Wasn't about the numbers. You know what I mean? It was more about some other things.
Fantasy world, man.
Yes, fantasy world. See, I got this old crazy fantasy that I had it for a while too. If it was a way to stop slavery, would I have done it? And the meaning of all that. So if you was like back in the day and shit, you could have did something to stop slavery. But it meant, for me, it meant that I wouldn't exist. And it's like, would you do it? Yes. My fantasy. Mm-hmm. And say if I could go back and be there over on the other side before I eliminate myself, I would probably United Africa. I tried to unite Africa.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because United Africa is something that the world don't never want to see. Don't want to never see a United Africa. And I'm not even talking about just the United Africa that some people might say, oh, yeah, all the. No, I'm talking about unite back with us. You know what I'm saying? Become my fantasy. Black man, the Jamaican man, the Haitian man, all the black people in the world go back to Africa. You know what I mean? And unite under one. In 10 years, we rule the world. My fantasy, nigga. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry.
We're good. We're good. So you're saying in your thoughts of fantasy world, your idea is just an overall I went with the whole making a reference to that movie, saying two chicks at the same time, man. So, so what you're getting at is it's the ability to believe in a possibility. That's what you're looking at.
It's just something that can't happen.
Yeah,
it won't happen, and it's not going to happen. But if it did happen, it would be like an overnight transfer of so much shit that get done in this country.
Okay. All right.
See what I'm saying?
I understand.
So now we roll the fuck out of here. They don't want us here no fucking way. And the Jamaicans say, you know what, fuck this island. It's about to be going under the water anyway, sooner or later.
Okay.
Same way with the brothers in Brazil and everywhere else on the east coast of the Americas.
Wow.
In inland too, son. So let's go back home. Come on. Let's do this shit. Fucking rule the world in fucking less than 10 years. So now I done said this. I'm going to have to go back to Martin Luther King and say, hey, I've seen the other side of this. And I'm going to tell you, get your guns ready and your bullets now. It's about to be some shit.
Okay.
All over the world. Oh, man.
Well, like
why are you talking this shit, man?
I don't know, because what happened is I went to do a little bit of show promo, and I turned it over to you, and I know that for a fact that's a chance I'm taking for the greater good of the fan base that Trap is getting his point of view out there. I don't want to hinder you. This is American Culture Topics, and we are the first and only podcast that keeps it true. And that's what I want to bring up. I can say it like this. I start the show by saying we hold these truths to be self-evident. So we don't really go off on, even when we use opinion, we're not using opinion from a standpoint to just spit and say anything. So we try to keep it without conflict. So if we are saying something that could be determined to be negative about somebody, let's say Trump, it's not going to be tied up in conflict. So what happens is, without conflict, it's like a missing piece. And a lot of people that entertain themselves with YouTube shows or Instagram or, regular television. When it comes to television, it can be reality television, game shows. There's a level of conflict that's associated with those shows, and people tend to, gravitate to that. So, these people are housewives. For years, the housewife in American culture, it's just been somebody who's, been at home, took care of the house. Real quick, salute to Cliff Bravo and Blue Label in the house.
Hold up, I'll be back.
Got it. So I got this. So we're talking about, say, reality television. People are attracted to that type of fantasy because it's a lifestyle, they're not familiar with, but they're interested in how these individuals react under certain circumstances. For myself, I know that since these shows have production, there's a level of, let's say, situations that are set up. So if this woman doesn't like talking to this woman in the real world, they won't meet. They won't be in the same place.
Cross path.
They won't be in the same place on purpose. But with the reality television show, an event happens where this one knows where the other one, or this woman and the other woman end up knowing each other, or they might not know, but their friends are going to set them up and have them meet up. So it's a contrived event, and I think of it as fantasy. And that's how I look at it from that standpoint. When you watch television, are there any fantasies that you see that happen on television other than reality TV?
Well, I don't really watch so-called reality TV.
Okay.
And on TV, my experience is to watch what can happen. You know what I mean? Total fantasy shit. This shit not going to happen. Okay? You're not going to see no Star Trek. You're not going to see Godzilla. You're not going to see... there's so much of fantasy out there. It's a lot of fantasy, but I understand people that like to watch the reality shit too. But basically, I'm living reality right now. This is my reality.
Okay.
Going to work, coming home, wife, kids, grandkids.
Thursday, 7 p.m. American Culture Topics. American
all
Culture
that,
Topics.
All that stuff, that's my reality and shit, man. I don't need to watch some dumb shit like that.
But even look at this, even this.
But that's they say. I think because but mine is
we don't take this as a fantasy though. But I mean, is it part of my fantasy?
What?
American Culture Topics. Am I looking at this as, well, maybe we catch the right eye of somebody, we get our likes, our shares, and our comments, folks that come in, thanks and salute again. But this show, say, without controversy, without falsification, what if we took and the show kept going and grew to the point where is it something that's going to be allowed to survive without fantasy and conflict? I'm bringing that conflict piece up because I think that's a major part.
With it. I heard it a few times already.
We hear the terms going viral. A lot of things that go viral, a lot of them come out of conflict. Now, I can't sing. Y'all know I can rap a little bit, but I can't sing. I'm just being honest. So a lot of people that go viral, some people can sing. I say some, nice political stuff sometimes. You do as well, but is the intent is about the truth. So as long as we're staying on the truth, we end up on the outside looking in, because when you speak truth, you end up offending everybody. So just because one day
cuss everybody out?
We can cuss everybody out.
Right now?
All right, let's go. Let's go. Who you want to do first? All right. First word I see. Cats.
Cats?
Yeah.
Like
fucking pussies. See?
Cats.
All right.
Can't never trust a cat. You give it your love, your warmth. You find it in the wilderness and you nurture this. And then,
I'm sorry, Trap. So y'all are not involved, but Trap had found the cat in the nearest workplace. He took the cat home, fed the cat, and the cat went outside and left. Then the cat ended up in somebody else's house. And now, a year later, that cat's on the street. So when Trap sees this cat, he like, hey, man, I watched him today, and the cat just looked at him and like cut his eyes, like, I was out, in a nice neighborhood, but now I'm in this neighborhood. Now I'm in the trap.
With Trap. In the trap with Trap.
Yeah. All right, how about this? Men. I started.
Men
ain't shit.
What?
Men have
Program.
the ability by God, the strength by God, the mentality by God to do great things. But man ends up falling under the same selfish mentality. Maybe it's because we waste our time trying to get back to that hole from which we came from. So now men out here sometimes break the rules. Sometimes we use our strength in instances when we should not have to. We should not be forcefully ever doing anything to the women. No, not with force. We are given these abilities, these thoughts, the way we speak. We are given the ability to put things together so we can do better. Yeah. As a man, we can do better.
That's the absolute truth. Now,
you thought I was programmed because you thought I was going to pussification man.
No. And the first thing that some people don't understand is you're going to have to make a choice. Okay? And it's not going to be a good choice for some people. You're going to have to change, your behaviors and stuff like that and get better. You know what I mean? And do better. And got to teach the boys how to do better. The young ones. See, somebody once asked me recently, what's going on with the kids? And I looked at this brother and I said, I'm going to tell you what it is. Because somebody taught you how to be a gentleman and how to carry yourself. Then you learn from somebody. You know what I'm saying? So, like my dad taught me shit, but I had to modify my behavior from that. But some of the things that some people, they think it's wrong to make your son open the door for his mother or any other woman. You know what I mean? It's something wrong with that. You teach them right, sometimes they come out right. Sometimes, not all the time. But, the caveman days is over. It's been over for a long ass time. And mankind has used this power to do some real stupid shit. I give this shit to the women and let them do the thing. You know what I mean? No more men presidents. No more men soldiers. No more. Ban them motherfuckers like they ban the chicks and shit. Ban them. You know what I mean? A whole
living in
thing.
The land called fantasy. Banning men. See? I'm
programmed. Not you.
Now we know who really programmed.
I'm programmed.
All right. Now, being that we're not about that fantasy stuff, when we talk that reality, now we got to flip the script and we got to go to the other side. So let's talk about them dogs.
What about a dog?
He act like he loyal.
What kind
but
of
if
dog
I don't got no food
about,
for him, he might kill me.
What kind of dog you talking about?
Damn dogs. Okay, enough of them. How about them bitches?
No. She
I don't know nothing about female dogs. Let's move on to the women. How about women? Uh,
Listen,
number one,
number
the
one.
majority have this complex to lead with emotion, which serves good purpose. To be emotional. I want a mother to be emotional with her child, the baby that can't do anything. I need emotion, good nourishment. But that don't work when you're talking to an adult. It causes conflict because you're speaking from one spot in one place, and that place is not, I repeat, not in grounds of debates. Debates, for the most part, require rational thought when you're making statements about trying to present truths. So
Okay.
if a woman was there to write the Declaration of Independence, she would have said, we hold these truths the same way we hold our heart to be protected by the flesh, for a piercing of such thing could cause eternal struggle and pain.
Okay.
That's how I would have sounded. But go ahead. What you think?
That's your opinion.
Yeah.
You have the right.
Go ahead.
But
program.
like I'm saying, it's this and shit. Okay, this is what I'm saying. It's like, it's some vicious ass shit out there going on in the real world. You know what I mean? And some people have a fantasy. They believe something that they know not to be the truth, and they still believe in it. You know what I mean? You cannot pull someone out of such a tube, okay? If they, just a tube, tube could be that long, whatever, that fat, as big as this house. They're still inside of a tube, okay? When you pull a tube out and you look at the roots of the tube, you know what I mean? Whether it's this long, that long, wide, big as his house. The truth is that some people just stuck without looking at the truth and shit. You know what I mean? They're stuck. They don't want to see the truth. But the truth is like day and night. You know?
Okay.
It's like day and night.
Okay.
Yeah. So their truths could be in the night and yours in the light. You see? And that's the difference about telling the truth.
And that's a great example of how when we went freely and talked about different types. That's how it would go. So we went dog, cat, man, woman. We didn't really, yeah. For the purposes of not getting flagged, we decided to not go with white people, black people, Mexicans.
No, we're gonna just bomb everybody. Fuck.
Fantasy.
We're gonna get fantasy. We're just gonna talk. When I say bomb, we're gonna talk about all you motherfuckers.
Yes, fantasy.
Everybody get a little bit of something. Okay.
So people, the game world. We play games forever, honestly. Because when I noticed that when I was a kid, there were adults still playing games. They pulled out a pack of cards. They would play spades, poker, with game cards. I've seen adults play Trivial Pursuit. I've seen adults play Scrabble. So I never seen adults stop playing games. I have heard a lot of people complain about adults that play video games. But I'm like, but adults are still playing games. Adults go out and gamble. They take their kids' money and gamble it away.
Well,
I'm just saying they're playing a game of chance and risk. So adults themselves don't stop playing games. So gaming, when I break it down like that, it's part of a fantasy. It takes you away from reality. Well, I can say casino gaming is more reality than it's not. But when you talk about gaming as a whole, electronic gaming and American culture. We've talked about this before. I talked about it. Just one episode, the trap wasn't there. Big money. Lots and lots of money. Over $50 million being spent in our city to build the first electronic gaming stadium.
I think it's
In the United States, will be the first one in the United States. The rest of the world is already ahead of us, and they already started building these things. So when you talk about gaming, you talk about the money that's spent. Honestly, a game maybe $60. Access to the internet is $60 a year. They have other little things that cost money. So that start adding up. When you multiply that across 100 million people, you're talking about $1 billion, $1 billion activity. Some people gamble on these. There are leagues now in gaming. Look at that. A fantasy. We're talking about a fantasy. It starts with, I can beat my friend in a game of Madden, and it expands into people making money. So,
hey, you know what? And you know what's really funny about that is that they had that center that they had built in Philly called Xfinity Center that was down there, and that kind of like toot the horn that this was coming. You know what I mean? It's like a slow tread, and shit, a real slow tread. Like this gaming thing was all over the place. You know what I mean? In my day, it was all over the place. Okay, I ain't that. Yeah. So we down there at a place like the place on Delaware Ave. I ain't giving nobody no advertising, but they had these games in there, and you come there, get a drink, win tickets, and play more games and hang out.
okay.
And, down on the riverfront there. It was nice. And then they came up with this Xfinity thing, the building down there in Philly. And I'm like, okay, what is this about? Then they moved on to the stadium down there, and they built this thing again. And I'm like, what the hell? You know what I mean? And then this right here they built. It's like it was a slow progress and it was a slow thread, but you could have kind of predicted where it was going.
Yeah, it's fantasy, man.
It's fantasy. It's fantasy, but I'm just saying.
Here you go.
Yeah,
from my standpoint, I watched the nerd evolve from getting beat on to people wanting to be the nerd. Yeah. Right? So now the nerd has created all of this world, and people are watching. We're a part of. We're going on YouTube, and we're trying to learn how to stream, and we're trying to we're getting involved in platforms, streaming broadcasts. We have the nerd technology now, and then everybody's doing what he's doing. And is it going to be to the point where people stop going to see baseball games, rather watch the nerd play the baseball on his video game?
No, not right now. I think we're good right now. But it's going to come a day when might not see baseball. I don't know. How the hell am I supposed to know? But the game's going to be there. You know what I mean? Even if a motherfucker 100 pounds under dirt, they still play video games.
So that's just that's just another way to look at it,
Yeah, because shit, it is an exit to another world, Yeah, man.
I know.
That's a snake dress, like a snake print.
Yeah.
And what's she doing? God.
She's doing the traffic. That's what he talking about, y'all. I'm sorry. Wasn't really trying to look at that, but
well, you know what? Why you turned away from it?
I was looking for something.
Well, did it end? Damn.
I will make sure you follow her later. How about that?
No, I just wanted to see,
fantasy though. Remember we were talking about them housewives earlier? Back in the day, the number one thing they were known for, other than watching Oprah, having my dinner ready, picking up my kids from school, washing my clothes, making sure the bills is all lined up. Yes, housewives have a big, very important job. I would never ever say they don't. But they were, and drinking wine. Housewives were known for the number one readers of fictional romantic novels.
You know what?
So they would go, listen, they would go to the supermarket, and the supermarket might have the section with the the National Enquirer and the People magazine and stuff like that. They also would have a book section, and you would see a whole bunch of books with this blonde hair, look like bleach blonde haired white guy with muscles named Fabio.
Fabio.
And he'd always be holding some chick. And she's like, oh, Fabio. Ah. And he's like, yeah, I got you, girl.
He just had pictures. He didn't have speaking roles.
But that's all it took to sell a book. Because they reading the book, and every page they turn and they see the guy, they thinking about his ass.
Well, you know what? And what's wrong with a romance novel?
I'm just saying it's fantasy. It was something that in American culture.
That was what you call fantasy. Pre-gaming fantasy, I guess.
Well,
because
and the
do they still write those
porno, let's just say it like this. Pornography, which is another American culture topic that was also covered by us, because we cover all American culture topics, remember? Yeah. Pornography was more a hidden thing, so
porno still hidden, is it?
Yeah, but I mean, people used to hide their Playboys and Playgirl magazines. Yeah, they would hide that stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No. You know what?
Now it's probably on their phone.
Porn is really crazy because it was like
more
always
fantasy.
Around. It was porn. Some kind of porn was always around when I was a kid. I mean, it's like, and that was a long time ago. So they had porn. Yeah, I know people. A lot older than me know about porn.
We're trying to see if Blue Label's still listening.
Porn was everywhere.
We talk about porn
everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
As another form of fantasy culture. A lot of those topics, categories, that's what they call them.
Categories of porn?
Yeah, so they say like category could be
okay, you know what? I ain't getting into that because you know what? You know what? Porn is crazy, man.
Or interracial. But as a fantasy, as a part of fantasy culture, porn plays a major part of fantasy culture. Also, sex toys. Sex toys as well. They play a very important part of fantasy culture here in America. So I don't know too much about those. I know there's something called a dildo. I know there's something called a fleshlight. Okay? I know I've never used neither. And I have no plans on ever using one. Now, and for those who are not sure yet, I will never use the dildo. There you go. Shit. You're sitting there. I don't want to leave nothing just hanging up there for nobody.
For nobody.
No. We hold these truths, damn it. So anyway, they were so funny, man. So we'll move on from porn and sex toys because major part of fantasy. I'm pretty sure a lot of sex toys were used while reading fictional novels with Fabio on the cover.
She was cheating on him with a what you call?
I'm pretty sure he would prefer that while he's out at work than her out here reading about Fabio, and then the mailman come walking by and he happened to have long blonde hair. That's gonna be a problem for that man when he get home.
Okay. Well, see, this is where I'm at, right? With that. With all that shit. You know what I mean? Be like, man, fuck that. I ain't going through that. No. See you later. Cheating on you with the dildo. Damn. That's fucked up.
Hey man, I don't
That's
know.
fucked up.
I guess so.
I mean, you gotta excuse
Just
me.
just think about it for a second. How you know what? Don't think about it.
So anyway,
So, what about the biggest fantasy of them all right now?
man.
Marvel. I'm going to say Marvel and DC, and the run of movies they've made over the past 20 years, I should say. We've been getting a healthy diet. Batman movies been out longer than that, but we've been getting a healthy diet of movies from DC and Marvel.
Well, more for Marvel.
But we had a run. There was a run of DC movies. You had Batman. You had like 6 Superman movies or something like that. You had Batman keeps restarting over and over again with another guy. I think there was a Flash movie. So there's been a lot of DC movies before this Marvel universe really got its footing with, I think they started with Spider-Man. So, and that's when Tobey Maguire was the Spider-Man. So, when I think about today's Marvel characters and DC characters in the movies, that becomes a fantasy world as well, based on the fact that large population, a lot of nerds, right, and others. If people happen to read the comic book when they were young, and were interested. Like I never really read Iron Man. I didn't read Doctor Strange. I didn't read Black Panther, but I did read. I was an X-Men fan, so I read X-Men Universe. I read Batman. So I didn't read Superman, but I knew who he was. So it's like more people get introduced into these worlds. It's a form of fantasy. Now Marvel and all of its books and movies and everything else is going to be underneath the Disney umbrella, who also owns ESPN. We really didn't want to talk about fantasy sports. I mean, that's self-evident as a fantasy world, and sports in general as a fantasy escape from reality. It's been evident. But ESPN, Marvel, Disney, all together will now have its own streaming service.
More money.
Yeah. So they're going to be asking for about $8 a month. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Uh-huh. So you have that. You have that. And like I said, Marvel's still making movies. DC's making movies. The Joker movie just came out. And has to be identified because Batman, for the most part, most of the characters in Batman were just humans. So where you watch a movie like The Joker or you watch Batman and you're watching somebody do things under the parameters of a human being, as opposed to under the parameters of I can fly and I have superhuman strength. So in the fantasy world of comics or fictional characters, your favorite, I believe, is this guy named Godzilla, or pronounced Gorilla.
Whatever.
Salute to Mac J. Ain't too many Giants fans in here because they got to fight tonight against the Patriots.
Oh, well, anyway, remember that Godzilla is like 1,000 no losses. He's all wins, no W's. You know what I mean? No L's for Godzilla, baby. It's just WWW, no more W's. You know, the heavyweight champion of the world. Anyway, I liked the comics when I was growing up. I read comic books and stuff like that. I have checked out some of the heroes out there: Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, and whatever. I think, Green Lantern, yeah, all that old stuff and shit, Black Panther, and then there was some other offshoot stuff from other comic books companies before these guys just came up front. But it's kind of like I think the comic thing might have been the biggest thing so far. Probably behind it was net. Nothing but net. But anyway, yeah, you know how you'll be looking at you used to read comics, and if you ever read a comic, and you'd be like, oh yeah, all fantasy, but now they moved that shit into the digital world where you could get the game and you could play, without. You could be a character and control your avatar, and I like the avatar thing. I do. I want to control everything.
Yeah, and also the comic book world opens up the cosplay world. As we approach Halloween, we've done Halloween culture before. I mean, whatever. But cosplay is a big part of Halloween culture. So this is when grown-ups or people, well, not always grown-ups, let's just say people, dress up like some type of character out of some comic book or video game. So, like most of our favorite cosplay individual characters are dressed up like the Catwoman. I don't know. I don't think nothing wrong with that. That's all. I mean, I'm having a flashback, y'all. I've seen some Catwomen over the lifetime, man. I'll tell you. But yeah, so cosplay, you dress up like Thor or Spider-Man or dressing up like Superman, fantasy now.
Or dressing up like Santa Claus.
Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, Mario,
Dracula.
Characters escaping that harsh reality.
And some of them characters need to go. We got to get rid of Santa Claus, y'all.
Wow.
No, he ain't got no business going. Listen, it's the Me Too era now. He ain't got no business being in nobody's house in the middle of the night. While dude doing sexy shift, Santa Claus stop by and give your wife some shit. What's up with that? What the fuck is up with that? This is motherfucker coming to your house uninvited, slip in, whip out a bag of shit and give your wife something, and you ain't got a problem with it? I got a problem with Santa Claus. Better not show up here, motherfucker. Better not. Anyway, who that other motherfucker? The vampire motherfucker.
Dracula.
Ooh, I ain't fucking with no Draculas. You come, you vampire motherfucker, you come to suck my shit.
That's messed up. boy got video rich. That's messed up.
Whoa. What's that about?
He
Okay.
hate
Yeah.
culture. We talk about hate culture. We don't really get into hate culture like that.
No, but you know what is there?
Hey, Kimber James. Hello. Thank you for joining us on American Culture Topics.
So
This
anyway,
week we're talking about fantasy culture.
Now, you get to hate culture and you move over to
Hey. We're staying on fantasy culture.
Oh.
Where we at now? We're at the 45-minute mark. Fantasy culture. Let's wrap this one up. There are plenty of other fantasy cultures out there. Remember, the important part about fantasy culture, we believe it's derived from the Romans, where Caesar said, "Give them games, keep their minds occupied off worried about what the hell I'm doing."
So anyway, I think it's something that would have came up with by itself. Gaming was just what we have now, and what they had back in the day was just the start of what is now. You know what I mean? The electronic gaming and stuff like that. Man, that shit got to me. Anyway, it's something that we started. It started in caveman day when they first rolled the dice. That's back in those days or whatever, cards or whatever came to a talking game too and shit. I guess you could put that in there too. Well, because there's so many layers.
I wasn't there, you were, so whatever.
I was there and I'm here now. Check that out. And shit.
Yeah,
so I must have learned something back there.
Okay.
Go ahead and be a smart ass, okay?
Yeah.
Experience motherfucker.
Bro, you don't want to go viral that way.
I told you. You
don't want to go viral that way.
They don't understand what experience.
Want to go viral that way, man.
I ain't going viral.
Go viral that way.
Well, I'm just telling you, shit. Experience. You know what I mean? You got it.
Sometimes people in the fantasy world where they think they can just beat up anybody.
No, I don't beat nobody.
I've
never beaten nobody.
Sometimes people just live in these fantasies. You know what I'm saying?
No, I never beaten anybody. Not me. I wouldn't know about that.
And it's okay to want to escape this harsh reality. Bills out here, people killing each other.
Yeah,
people living in sin,
all that's fantasy,
robbing,
right?
No. We're talking about reality. People out here, they raping, robbing, killing, stealing. It's just a lot of craziness that indoctrinating your children with things that you don't want them to know about that way. You want to tell them yourself. You think you can do it the better way. But your kids are being things are being poured into them on the reality side. So with all that being said, and you want to escape to your fantasy, that's fine. Just remember when you come back to reality, turn fantasy off and focus and stick to what's going on in reality. Then when you're done, go back to your fantasy. Separation, like church and state. Keep it separated.
Yeah, because reality is the reality of it all.
Okay. That concludes our topic on fantasy culture. Let's go into this day in U.S. history. I'll just set it up a little bit. From 1983 to 1993, there were 11 of these such instances that involved this one particular workplace. But it would be this one that happened in 1991 on October the 3rd. October the 10th, 2000. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I will apologize because we are holding these truths and I am messing this up. October 10th, 1991. Former postal worker Joseph Harris shoots two former co-workers to death, and the night before, I think he shot his old supervisor. He killed his old supervisor using a samurai sword. Now, His instance, along with some other ones in the 90s, led us to this term where we still use today called going postal. So this is because this had to happen. And like I said, between 83 and 93, 11 times there was some type of workplace murders involving the United States Post Office worker and former workers. The sad part about this was he was fired back in April of 1990. Now, this incident, of course, happened on October of 1991. So why would one believe that him being fired is a part of it? It's like over a year went by, almost a year and a half. So why would we link it? Well, because he killed his coworkers. But makes his story interesting is he had killed previously. When he lost his job in April of 1990, he was upset, and this is, I guess, off his claim. So he started to stockpile weapons. 1990, unemployment, welfare still around, right? So he's taking his welfare money and he's buying guns and ammunition. He had also had some money invested sadly, he was born in prison, so his mama was locked up when he was born. Baby Joker in the making, okay? He lost his money he gave $10,000 to a guy named Roy Edwards. And Roy's like, bro, I lost your money. The Trap finds this funny. I wonder why. Maybe it's the way I deliver it. Y'all know I got dark humor. Anyway, so he lost his money. So Mr. Harris dresses up like a ninja, like how I look right now. Woo! Dresses up like a ninja. Goes to Edwards' house, and after he sexually assaults the man's wife and his daughters, he kills all of them.
Oh,
okay.
God. You know what? This some stupid shit.
But I'm just saying,
this motherfucker.
He did this all in April 1990 after he lost his job.
But
was sad because he tried to basically get caught, right?
No, he basically tried to get his money back first. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying we got fingerprint evidence. I'm pretty sure DNA is getting better.
Everything.
But
yeah,
because Edwards lost a lot of people money, they didn't know who to go after.
Yeah, so he really lost the money. He didn't embezzle it. He lost the man money. Man.
You lost my money, but here you got a house, wife, kids.
I want my money. And then some ugly shit happened. Yeah. This whole thing was ugly. So because he was never identified as a potential murderer, he was able to plan his next attack, which happened to be his former supervisor and a couple of his co-workers. And the thing was about these things about he was never under the radar for the first killings he did.
Yes.
Why wasn't he? He was
because
he lost money.
Because Roy Edwards, the broker, he lost a lot of people money.
I know, but
a lot of people wanted to kill him.
This guy lost more than most people did.
Yeah.
He lost his job first. Then he lost his money.
He lost his job and he lost his money.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm guessing.
So some dumb shit happened. The broker should have just got out of Dodge. You know what I mean? This is what he should have did. He
It's
saved his own ass.
safe bet to say that he's
But
not.
yeah, he got his
somebody-
own. He got his family killed. This shit. The postal worker did it. He actually did the swinging, the chopping, the raping, and all that shit. He did that. You know what I mean? But you can't say that he lost it all. You know what I mean? That's how he felt.
Mhm.
He felt that his money and his job was all of it. That was it. And when he lost his job, he was like, I got my money. And then you're, what? You ain't got my money? Oh, hell no.
But I think he used anger. I think he used anger
Yeah, he was
as his
angry, and
number
he
one
used hate.
tool. He had opportunity
He
with
used hate, anger,
he had
He
welfare.
used it all.
He had welfare. He was bringing in money, and he was taking that money and saving it and buying weaponry, and swords and shit like that. But when he went to go find out about his investments, and the boy told him he lost his money. He like, I just spent all this money on swords and guns, and you got 10 stacks of mine, and you done lost it.
My money. I'll tell you now. You know what? That's a lesson in American greed too.
Yes,
You just throw that in on there too,
yes.
because yo, motherfucker, if you lose my money, it's best to let me know my money lost. Okay,
Yes,
than for me to find out that my money lost.
I agree.
You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you best be having my bucks and shit. I ain't playing that shit.
It's best to move, change your number, and move.
You need to change your goddamn time zone or two, maybe three.
Facts.
Yeah.
So that, like I said, and so he got that ended up making him have 6 bodies. So he got them 3. Then he got the other 3 for the post office. That's a total of 6. Like I said, between 83 and 93, this happened 11 times. The one with the most body count was 14 workers by Pat Sherrill. This happened in Oklahoma. Wounded another 5 and then shot himself when the SWAT came after. So going postal is a thing. It is a culture because
Well, it hadn't happened in a while.
no, but we still have workplace shootings.
Yeah,
every year.
other workplaces. And shit.
Every year we still deal with workplace shootings, workplace violence, where people lose their job and they go back to the job and they do bad things. And, it's getting late. So yes, that is a culture. It's reversible. I think with better mental health awareness,
Really?
better. I don't know. I mean, like I said, maybe if he had better access to better fantasies, he might have been able to come up with a way out. So for fantasy culture, for this day in history, this has been Trap Gardner over here. Trap Gardner, thank you opening up the studio. If you would like to donate to Trap Gardner, you can reach him at paypal.me/Trap Gardner. I will put it in the description.
Anyway,
This guy, he needs to get a cash app. I am Mills Lane. You can find me at Instagram at What's Wrong with Dad. I am also, I don't know. I try my best. To me, this show is reality. We just want to get out here and get information to the people. As far as fantasy is concerned, I didn't get a fantasy football team this year.
no.
But I would appreciate any donation that's possible. Or just leave this little note. My cash app is Mills Lane, ACT. And we out here. Didn't make the cut. Salute. You missed the episode about fantasy culture. Yeah, we really didn't talk about the YouTube. We lightly dusted on YouTube and Instagram. But yeah, as far as fantasy culture, there's a lot of fantasy out there. Rebroadcast should be available via YouTube, unless we get flagged by Fabio. Right? Fabio ain't giving a damn about us. So for next week, till next week, that's Trap Gardner. I'm Mills Lane, and we thank you for joining us here on this episode of American Culture Topics. Salute to you all, and have a good night. What do you say? I didn't read that. He's a hold